You ever look at a woman who moves with a certain kind of calm, a certain kind of confidence, a certain kind of unshakable energy, and wonder how she built like that? Let me tell you something. That don't happen by accident. That's daily work. That's habits. That's discipline. That's a marathon she runs every single day. So today I want to talk about 9 habits every woman must practice daily if she's serious about living at a higher level, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Self-respect ain't something you stumble into. It's something you build day by day through the choices you make when nobody's watching. People think confidence comes from compliments or success or applause, but real confidence, real inner power comes from discipline, from waking up every day and doing the things you promised yourself you would do. That's the foundation. That's the part no one sees, but everyone feels. Discipline is a silent language. When you stick to your routines, when you honor your commitments, when you push through, even on the days you don't feel like it, you're sending a message to yourself, I can trust me. And trust, that's the core of self-respect. Because how can you expect anyone else to take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously first? Every time you choose discipline over excuses, over distractions, over temporary comfort, you reinforce your worth. You start to feel different. You carry yourself different. You speak with more clarity because you're living in alignment. There's nothing louder than a person who stays true to their word. That's the quiet type of strength that can't be taught. It's earned. People spend their lives chasing validation from others, but the real win is internal validation. When you don't need approval to feel solid. Discipline gives you that. When you sit down to work on your goals instead of scrolling your time away. When you choose to eat in a way that honors your body instead of numbing your emotions. When you decide to break old cycles instead of repeating them, you're building self-respect brick by brick. And those bricks stack. That structure becomes unshakable. There's a certain peace that comes with discipline too. Chaos fades. Anxiety drops. You stop feeling like life is happening to you, and you start realizing life is responding to you. Because the more disciplined you are, the more control you have. Not control over everything around you, but control over you, your reactions, your habits, your mindset. And when you can control yourself, you're already ahead of 95% of the world. Discipline is also a filter. It exposes what matters and what doesn't. It shows you who's really for you and who's just around you. Because the moment you start leveling up your habits, you'll see some people fall back. Not because you changed too much, but because they refuse to change at all. And that's all right. Discipline teaches you to let go without bitterness, to understand that not everybody is meant to go where you're going. Some people are only compatible with the unhealed, undisciplined version of you. Once you start respecting yourself, they lose access. And let's be real, discipline is not glamorous. It's not always motivational or exciting. Some days it feels like you're pushing through mud. Some days you're exhausted, irritated, mentally drained. But those are the exact days that define you. Those are the days your character is shaped. Anyone can be consistent when life feels smooth. The real strength shows up when it's rough and you still do the work. That's where self-respect grows the deepest. You don't build a strong identity through big speeches or big dreams. You build it through the daily grind, through the small decisions that seem insignificant but carry weight over time. Waking up 10 minutes earlier, journaling, meditating, eating better, putting in an extra hour into your purpose. These things pile up slowly, silently. But one day you look back and realize you've become someone you're proud of, someone you don't have to pretend to be, someone you respect. And once you respect yourself, everything else shifts. The way you speak, the way you love, the way you let people treat you, the way you chase your goals. Self-respect forms a backbone. It gives you the courage to walk away from anything that doesn't align. You stop settling. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for wanting more because you know you're putting in the work. You know you're earning your spot. Daily discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. It's about showing up for yourself in a world that constantly pulls you in every direction. It's about choosing the future you over the comfortable now. And that choice, made consistently, is what builds self-respect that can't be taken, shaken, or broken. You become solid. You become grounded. You become someone who moves with intention, someone who commands respect without demanding it. And that's the real reward. Not the applause, not the recognition, but the inner knowing that you became the kind of person you can rely on. That's where true power begins. But protecting your energy is one of the most powerful moves you can make in this life, because not everybody deserves a seat at your table, and not every voice deserves space in your mind. People think strength shows up in how much you can take, how much you can tolerate, how much you can sacrifice. But real strength, real maturity, is knowing what you will not accept anymore. It's understanding that peace is a currency, and once you start valuing it, you stop letting anybody spend it carelessly. There comes a point in life where you realize your spirit is not a public playground. Your time, your focus, your emotions, those are resources that fuel your growth, your healing, your vision. And when you let the wrong people drain them, you slow down your own progress. You dim your own light trying to keep others comfortable. That's why protecting your energy is necessary, not selfish. It's survival for your soul. Setting boundaries starts with one question: what does my peace cost? Because once you know the price, you stop handing it out for free. There's a certain kind of clarity that hits you when you understand that not everyone around you is meant to go forward with you. Some people only know you from the version of yourself that didn't know how to say no. They depended on your silence, your availability, your guilt. The moment you start choosing yourself, you'll see who never cared for you, just what you provided. One of the hardest lessons is realizing that love without boundaries turns into resentment. Respect without boundaries turns into manipulation. Kindness without boundaries turns into exhaustion. You burn out trying to save everyone else while no one even notices you're running on empty. Protecting your energy means refusing to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that don't grow you. It means understanding that your presence is valuable and not everyone should have access to it. You start recognizing the conversations that drain you, the environments that lower your vibration, the relationships that leave you tired instead of lifted. And the moment you see it clearly, you start pulling back, not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of self-preservation, out of respect for your future. Because peace is not something you find by accident. You create it by subtracting everything that disrupts it. A lot of people struggle with boundaries because they're scared of being misunderstood. But you gotta accept this truth. People who benefit from you having no boundaries will always see your boundaries as disrespect. Let them. You're not shaping your life around their comfort anymore. You're shaping it around your growth. Protecting your energy also means knowing when to walk away. Some doors don't close because you're weak. They close because the room is too small for who you're becoming. You owe nothing to the old version of yourself who tolerated what you now recognize as disrespect. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to outgrow people, places, habits, and conversations that no longer align with your purpose. And let's talk about solitude for a second. When you really start valuing your energy, you stop fearing being alone. Silence becomes peaceful. Your own company becomes refreshing. You start hearing your own thoughts clearly again. You start trusting your intuition. You start rebuilding yourself without the noise of opinions and expectations. That's where real alignment begins. That's where your spirit recalibrates. Protecting your energy also requires honesty. You can't blame people for crossing boundaries you never communicated. Speak up. Say what bothers you. Say what's not okay. Say what you will and won't accept. And do it with calmness, not anger. Boundaries spoken with calm energy hit different. They show people you're serious without trying to prove anything. People often mistake a peaceful person for a soft person, but there's nothing soft about someone who guards their inner world. It takes courage to distance yourself from chaotic energy. It takes discipline to reject drama when you were raised around it. It takes strength to say, I choose peace, especially when peace requires letting go of things you once held close. And when you start protecting your energy consistently, your life changes. Your mind becomes clearer. Your relationships become healthier. Your purpose becomes sharper. You stop reacting to everything. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for choosing yourself. You start moving different, more intentional, more grounded, more confident. Protecting your energy isn't about building walls. It's about building filters. It's about letting in what nourishes you and releasing what drains you. It's not about being hard. It's about being wise. Because once your peace becomes your priority, everything else falls into place. You move with a cleaner spirit, a calmer mind, and a stronger sense of who you are. And that is the kind of power nobody can take from you. Investing in yourself is the real flex, and it ain't just about stacking money or chasing clout. It's deeper than that. Real power comes from the trifecta: your mind, your body, and your spirit. If you neglect one, the others can't reach full potential. Every day, every decision, every habit either builds you up or chips away at your foundation. And when you understand that, you start seeing growth differently. You start seeing yourself differently. Your mind is the engine that drives everything. Knowledge is leverage. Information is power. Reading, learning, thinking critically, reflecting on your experiences, all of it compounds over time. A sharp mind sees opportunities before they appear to everyone else. A disciplined mind controls emotion, responds instead of reacts, and creates solutions when others are still complaining. Investing in your mind means you're constantly upgrading your understanding of the world and yourself. It means turning curiosity into skill and skill into freedom. It means refusing to let ignorance dictate your future. But it ain't enough to only feed your brain. Your body is the vessel that carries you through life. If you don't respect it, it'll break under pressure. Movement, nutrition, rest, they aren't just physical acts. They're statements to yourself that you're worth the effort. When you treat your body like a temple, you're sending a message to the world and to yourself: I matter. My life matters. Exercise sharpens your mind, clears mental clutter, and gives energy to your purpose. Eating well isn't about vanity. It's about sustaining the drive you need to keep winning. Sleeping enough isn't laziness. It's strategy. Every small choice compounds into how strong, resilient, and capable you become. And then there's spirit, the quiet, often overlooked part of the equation. Spirit is your connection to purpose, to faith, to inner peace. It's the stillness that guides you when the world is loud. Meditating, reflecting, journaling, praying, or simply sitting in silence is investing in clarity and balance. Spirit keeps you grounded when chaos comes. Spirit reminds you why you started and why you keep going, even when it's hard. Without it, success feels hollow and achievements feel empty. When you nurture your spirit, your actions align with your values and your decisions carry integrity. The beauty of investing in mind, body, and spirit is that it's cyclical. Growth in one fuels the others. A strong mind inspires confidence in your body, which strengthens your discipline, which deepens your spirit. Your spirit motivates your mind to learn and grow, which pushes your body to perform at a higher level. When you approach your life holistically, You become resilient to setbacks because you've built strength in multiple layers. You're harder to break, harder to distract, and harder to mislead. Consistency is what separates those who talk about investing in themselves from those who actually do it. You don't have to spend hours every day in the gym or in the library or in meditation, but you do have to show up. You do have to commit to even the small things. 10 minutes of reading, a 20-minute walk, 5 minutes of reflection. Those little deposits stack over time into a bank of wisdom, energy, and clarity that nobody can take from you. That's the blueprint for long-term success. Most people look for shortcuts. They chase trends, quick fixes, and instant gratification. But investing in yourself is about patience, discipline, and faith in the long game. It's about understanding that real wealth isn't just in what you can buy, it's in who you become. And who you become will dictate every relationship, every opportunity, and every obstacle in your life. You're literally building a version of yourself that the world will have to respect, whether it likes it or not. At the end of the day, mind, body, and spirit are inseparable. You can't neglect one without it affecting the others. A sharp mind trapped in a weak body is limited. A strong body without purpose is empty. A vibrant spirit without clarity is lost. When you invest in all three, you create a life of balance, strength, and vision. You become someone who can walk through the fire and come out refined, not broken. You become someone who inspires not by chance, but by design. The work is never done, and that's the point. There's always room to grow, to learn, to improve, to deepen your connection with yourself. Investing in yourself daily isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Every step you take towards strengthening your mind, nurturing your body, and feeding your spirit compounds. And one day, you'll look in the mirror and recognize a person who can handle any challenge, embrace any opportunity, and live a life that's truly theirs. That's the power of self-investment, the power of being whole, elevated, and unstoppable. Pressure is everywhere. From the moment you wake up, the world wants something from you. Expectations from family, opinions from friends, standards from society, and the constant buzz of comparison on every screen. Everyone's trying to shape you into what they think you should be, what they think looks right, or what they think is acceptable. But real freedom, real power, comes when you stop living for everyone else and start living for your purpose. Purpose is like a compass. It points you where you're meant to go, even when the noise around you is deafening. Pressure is temporary. Purpose lasts a lifetime. Choosing purpose over pressure starts with knowing who you are and what matters most to you. Most people never take the time to figure that out. They chase what's trendy, what's easy, what everyone else is doing, hoping it will make them happy. But happiness built on someone else's script never lasts. Purpose gives your life meaning. It's not about what looks impressive on the outside, it's about what aligns with your truth inside. Once you know your purpose, pressure starts to lose its grip. You realize not every opinion matters, not every demand needs to be met, and not every path is yours to walk. Pressure will always try to make you rush. The world wants instant results, instant validation, instant proof that you're enough. But purpose operates on a different clock. It's patient, it's strategic, it's consistent. You can't be chasing the approval of everyone around you and expect to achieve something meaningful at the same time. Purpose asks you to walk your own path, to make your own moves, and to trust the process even when the crowd doubts you. Purpose is what keeps you steady when the storms hit. Pressure is what makes you waver. Choosing one over the other isn't always easy, but it's necessary. Every day you face moments where pressure tempts you to compromise. Maybe it's a decision at work, a relationship, a lifestyle choice, or the way you spend your time. Pressure makes it seem urgent, like you need to bend, adjust, or perform for someone else's comfort. Purpose whispers, stay true, keep moving. This is your lane. And the difference between living stressed and living fulfilled is often just that, listening to purpose instead of reacting to pressure. It's saying no to the noise and yes to your vision. Purpose also teaches resilience. When you operate from pressure, setbacks feel devastating. Rejection feels like failure. Criticism feels like defeat. But when you operate from purpose, everything becomes part of the journey. Every setback is a lesson. Every rejection is redirection. Every challenge is training. Pressure might make you want to quit, but purpose makes you want to grow, to adjust, and to push harder. Purpose is patient. Pressure is impatient. Choosing purpose gives you the stamina to stay in the race longer than anyone else. The world will try to define you, but purpose gives you your own definition. People will doubt your moves, question your timing, and ridicule your decisions. That's pressure trying to force you into a mold that doesn't fit. Purpose ignores that noise. Purpose gives you courage to stand alone if you have to. Purpose makes you bold enough to take calculated risks, disciplined enough to delay gratification, and humble enough to keep learning along the way. Purpose gives life depth. Pressure gives life anxiety. It's also about energy. Pressure drains you. Chasing everyone else's expectations consumes your focus, your creativity, your peace. Purpose energizes you. It gives you clarity. It aligns your actions with your goals. It makes your work feel meaningful. When you choose purpose, the grind stops being a burden. The struggle becomes part of your story. The obstacles become stepping stones. Your energy becomes investment instead of waste. Choosing purpose over pressure isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. It's the way you structure your days, the way you select your battles, the way you spend your time, and the people you allow into your life. It's rejecting the culture of urgency and distraction in favor of the discipline of focus. It's understanding that success built on external validation is hollow, while success built on internal alignment is lasting. Purpose is a marathon, not a sprint. Pressure wants instant results. Purpose builds legacies. And at the end of the day, the people who thrive, the people who leave a mark, the people who inspire are the ones who chose purpose over pressure. They didn't bend for everyone else's expectations. They didn't quit when it got tough. They didn't trade meaning for comfort. They stayed committed to the vision that only they could see. And in doing so, they carved a life that not only elevates themselves, but elevates everyone around them. Purpose is power. Pressure is noise. When you learn to tune out the noise and follow your purpose, you create a life that can't be shaken, stolen, or defined by anyone but you. Consistency is what separates dreams from reality, and too many people mistake motivation for progress. Motivation comes and goes. It's fleeting, emotional, unpredictable. But consistency is a choice you make every day, whether you feel like it or not. That's where real power lies. If you want to see your vision become tangible, you can't rely on sparks of inspiration. You need a steady fire, the kind that keeps burning even when the world doubts you, even when the road gets rough, even when nobody notices. Vision is more than a goal. Vision is a blueprint of the life you're trying to build. It's the story you tell yourself about who you can become and the legacy you want to leave behind. But a vision without action is just a dream, and action without consistency is wasted energy. The bridge between where you are and where you want to go is built brick by brick, day by day. Every small move, every repeated habit, every choice aligned with your vision compounds over time. That's the law of accumulation. Small things done consistently create massive results. The struggle with consistency is real because the world will test your patience. You'll face setbacks, delays, distractions, and critics who don't believe in your vision. Some days it feels easier to quit, to blend in, to settle for comfort. But consistency isn't about the easy days. It's about showing up when it's hard. It's about honoring your commitments to yourself when no one else cares. The real test of vision isn't when life is smooth, it's when life is messy. The real measure of a person's commitment is how they move when the stakes are high and the reward is still far away. Consistency also builds trust, first with yourself. Every time you follow through, even when it's inconvenient, you reinforce the belief that you're reliable, that you can handle responsibility, that you can deliver. That internal trust becomes unshakable. And once you trust yourself, the world starts trusting you too. Doors open, opportunities align, people take you seriously. You become someone who doesn't just talk about goals. You actually accomplish them because you understand that greatness is not created in a moment. It's built over years of consistent effort. It's easy to get caught up in the hype of overnight success, but that's rarely the reality. Legends aren't born in a day. They are forged over time through repeated actions, discipline, and an unbreakable commitment to their vision. You stack wins slowly, silently. The world only sees the results, but the real work is the daily grind, the early mornings, the late nights, the refusal to quit, the learning from failures, the adjustments made along the way. Consistency is the vehicle that carries vision from imagination into reality. Part of staying consistent is also about focus. The world is noisy, full of distractions, detours, and shiny objects that pull your attention away. But every time you realign with your vision, you're choosing direction over distraction. You're saying no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what propels you forward. That's where discipline intersects with purpose. The more focused you are on your vision, the less likely you are to be derailed by temporary pressures or opinions of others. Another key aspect of consistency is resilience. Sometimes you'll stumble, and sometimes progress feels invisible. There will be days where the results don't match the effort, and if you're not careful, that discouragement can shake your commitment. But vision demands patience. Success is not linear. It's full of ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and the people who stay consistent are the ones who reach the finish line. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's what separates talkers from doers. It's what allows a dream to survive the storms and emerge as reality. Consistency also shapes identity. When you commit to your vision every day, it becomes who you are. You stop thinking of yourself as someone trying to succeed. You become someone who does succeed. Habits, routines, and repeated actions reinforce your self-image. Over time, the person you see in the mirror is no longer someone chasing a dream. They are the person living it. That's the kind of transformation that only comes from showing up day in and day out with unwavering dedication. At the end of the day, vision without consistency is wishful thinking. Action without consistency is chaos. But when you combine a clear vision with relentless, repeated effort, you create momentum that can't be stopped. You start moving at a pace where obstacles become lessons, setbacks become opportunities, and the impossible becomes inevitable. The path to your dreams is not always straight, but consistency ensures you keep walking it. Every small step adds up, every repetition counts, and one day you'll look back and realize that what once seemed distant is now your reality. Consistency with vision is the ultimate form of respect for yourself. It's showing the world, and more importantly yourself, that your goals matter, your time matters, and your potential matters. It's about keeping faith in the process, honoring your plan, and trusting that the accumulation of small, steady efforts will lead to extraordinary outcomes. That's how empires are built. That's how legacies are made. That's how dreams stop being dreams and start being life.